Okay, let's unpack this. Today we are diving into Opik, which is an open source platform from Comet. It's designed to tackle the entire life cycle of large language model applications. Our mission here is really to show you exactly how Opik takes the guesswork out of building and optimizing this stuff. Whether you're working on a simple RAG chatbot or those really complex multi-step agentic systems.
And that's the thing, right? Every LLM project, it starts in what you could only call prototype chaos. Opik exists because debugging, evaluating, and monitoring those complex workflows and already pipelines is, well, it's a nightmare right now. So they solve this by providing comprehensive tracing in these production-ready dashboards. It helps you move reliably from that messy proof of concept straight to a stable deployment.
Right. So if we follow that developer journey, it naturally breaks down into three core areas: development, evaluation, and then production. So starting with development, it's all about observability. This means deep tracing of every single LLM call, logging the full conversation history, and tracking all the context.
I mean, just imagine. That capability alone probably saves developers days of staring at nested API calls and wondering why their RAG response went completely off the rails.
Yeah, and Opik really shines by being extremely compatible. The sources mention extensive third-party integrations right out of the box, including recent additions like Google ADK, Autogen, and Flowise AI. That kind of support makes adoption, incredibly seamless.
Okay, which means you've built your prototype. Now you have to face that inevitable question. How do you automate quality control for something as fluid and subjective as a generative AI output? And that brings us to their second phase: evaluation and testing.
Yeah, and this is where it gets really interesting. You start with your standard data sets and experiments for automated evaluation. But the core breakthrough Opik highlights is this concept of LLM as a judge. The real insight here is that traditional metrics, like static accuracy, they just fail when outputs are creative or nuanced. So this judge model, a superior LLM, it steps in to evaluate complex, subjective criteria. Wait, hold on. If an LLM is scoring the output, isn't that just moving the goalposts? How do they ensure the judge model itself isn't biased?
It sounds like that, but it's designed to provide objective, standardized scoring for metrics that traditionally required a human to sit there and check. Things like hallucination detection, answer relevance, context precision. They enforce rigor by using these predefined, really detailed rubrics. Plus, for developers who are big on continuous integration, the PyTest integration means you can bake these sophisticated evaluations right into your CI/CD pipeline. It acts as a mandatory gate before anything gets deployed.
That systematic rigor is so crucial, but testing is only half the battle. If we connect this to the bigger picture, moving into production and optimization is where scale just hits you. And Opik is explicitly designed for that pressure. I mean, logging high volumes engineered to handle 40 million plus traces a day.
Well, 40 million. And that kind of volume stability is essential. But what happens once the model is live and facing the real world? This is where the continuous optimization comes in. They offer the Opik Agent Optimizer, which helps manage performance drift, and crucially, Opik guardrails.
The guardrails are key, aren't they? They aren't just logging errors. They are actively securing and enhancing the live application in real time, basically helping implement responsible AI practices by sanitizing inputs and outputs. It's the safety net every developer needs when they're scaling up.
Precisely. Now, for access, how do you get your hands on it? Opik is fully open source under the permissive Apache 2.0 license. You have two primary ways to jump in. The quickest path is through the Comet.com cloud, which they recommend for just getting started instantly. But for those who demand total control, you can self-host using Docker Compose for local dev or leverage Kubernetes and Helm for really scalable deployments.
And the codebase is heavily geared toward Python and TypeScript, which clearly signals their target audience. Data scientists integrating with modern web front ends. So what does this all mean for you? Opik provides the complete toolset to move LLM projects from that chaotic, sort of hand-waving prototype stage to true production-grade stability and scale. It really forces a disciplined approach to measurement.
Which, raises an important question for you, the listener. Given that Opik focuses so heavily on generating objective metrics for failures like hallucination and context precision through this LLM as a judge idea, how does the ability to actually quantify these complex AI failures fundamentally change the definition of a truly production-ready LLM application? And if you do jump in, they encourage you to look into contribution opportunities, whether that's submitting feature requests or just improving the documentation.